civil society advocates across Africa, and my fellow artists, across Africa, from Kenya to Zimbabwe to, Tanzania. People were sharing, solidarity messages for me and those that were detained. Also, I had to take some notes down because I really wanted to formalize this, so that I don't miss out on anything. So this is basically what I'm going to start off with. I'm also going to thank the 22 brothers, that were detained with me. By virtue, God made me the famous one who has the opportunity to be visible and to probably have access to more support because of, the nature of, who I am. But equally, I do believe that the 22 young people who were arrested along with me and went through the same situations and conditions as I did, some even worse, I do believe they equally deserve to be recognized, respected, and celebrated, and without them, I don't think the resistance would have been possible. Because when we come up with ideas like, let's not take the police bail, these are people who've never been in this situation, never been arrested in their life. Some people as young as 18, 19, and, their will and dedication to go along with the cause, despite the risk, the families that they left behind, I really believe that played a great part, that united stand, on all decisions that affected all of us. It was like, if you're going to release him, you're going to release all of us type of mentality. And we actually became brothers because we were divided in 4 different police stations. And each of us that were in those police stations, we slept together, woke up together, shared food together, shared the same frustration together. And that brought this natural bond within this 1 week between all of us 22. So I would definitely like to give them, their credit, their respect. And I believe they should be celebrated, for my guy, Ibrahim Jallo, aka Ghetto Pen. He's a Gala representative who was arrested as one of the Gala executive members, but he was arrested on the 2nd day. Shout out to Ansumana, Sound Brother, we really appreciate your struggles, and sorry for putting your family through this. Ibrahim Ajata, my man is like, we share the same cell in Bakote, me and him and other brothers. Ibrahim Ajata is just a passionate, brother. As a young man, he's into like construction and stuff, and he didn't expect to be arrested or detained to the extent where, he couldn't even contact his business partners and handle pending businesses. He's a family man with a wife. His wife comes to the police station every day with his child, have a beautiful child. Every day they come to the Bakwate police station, just checking up on him and trying to do his best. So shout out to Ibrahim. He also was one of those who was down with anything that we decided, and he also contributed great ideas whilst we were in the cells, and I really like to celebrate him as well. Of course, can't forget Ibrahim Keita. Shout out to Keita, bro. The more man to over here, I'll let you explain that when that comes out. I can't forget Sisaho Dansu. Yeah, Sisaho also another well-spirited guy. And these are all people who never been arrested. Like people like me and Lamin C, they were actually, we actually been arrested, been through the system. But these are guys who never, ever expected in their life, to be arrested. So we must celebrate them. Shout out to Lamin C. He's the Team Gumsabopa national mobilizer. He played a great part in making sure that me as a leader, was well composed and didn't forget, that it's bigger than me. And I have people behind me who are in the same situation that look up to me. So shout out to Lemon C. He's definitely a true leader, and also somebody who stands for the rights of anybody, no matter what the situation is. So we celebrate you, Lemon C. And of course this annoying little kid, Badu Seka. Badu nearly gave us a heart attack. Badu, shout out to Badu. Now he calls himself Junior Killa Ace, Yeah, I know we ever tell Badu. Yeah, well, shout out to him because his story is just, I don't know, it's interesting because Badu was the youngest of us that was detained. Badu is a student. Badu is a nice kid. Badu is just, funny, he's just a cool kid. So seeing Badu in that situation, to the extent where he had to go through certain situations at Kairaba police station, then come to Mile 2. Badu's situation really, it was one of the cases that really hit me in my heart. Because Badu, he has like underlying medical issues, which the police neglected. One, when we were arrested, the first arrest when we were taken to Kairaba station, we were manhandled so bad that mom specs on me, his lunette, he wears some specs because like his eyes, they burn and stuff. Like he has some also eye issues, which requires for him to wear those glasses. So during the brutality of the police officers, like his glasses, fell down and got missing. And also my beads, I had these beautiful beads my daughter gave me, and then it had like 27 pieces that shattered. I only found 3 pieces, So Badu's glasses were spoiled. So Badu literally couldn't really see to the best of his abilities while we were in Kairaba police station and detained. And he also told him that he kind of have like certain issues. And it went to the extent where Badu eventually collapsed and fainted in the cell. And we had to make noise and tell the officer somebody fainted, emergency, and they lifted him up and took him out, So Badu's case, I don't think as a young person, he deserved to be treated like that. He did not, just like everybody else. But Badu as a student, nice kid, he did not deserve that. And the fact that authorities neglected, our pleas for him to be treated with privilege, considering his age, 1, and 2, considering, his health conditions, He was in the cell for a couple of hours, couldn't have access to his glasses until the police officers eventually found them. And when they found the glasses were broken. One eye of it, that's one, half living beanie. When we were in the prison, I was like, yo, give us the prescription of the glasses and the team will come and, bring you some new glasses because you can't be coming out here with one eye, shattered and the other eye, what I'm saying? We're not on TikTok Live, bro. So, and fortunately, we got released that same day. So, the fact that authorities neglected Badu, it's really shocking, and he was one of those that took bail because there was 3 people that took bail. But what the police don't tell you is that those people didn't take bail because, they wanted to. No, because they all had medical conditions. So he took bail, and even though he took the police bail, he was also one of those that ended up in mine too. So my people, don't ever trust or go for police bail. As long as it's not a capital offense or a capital crime, all these small get-to-self charges, don't ever take police bail. That's a word of advice as an advocate who has been a victim of police bail. So shout out to Badu. God bless you and sorry for you going what you going through. You were a hero. Shout out to Yaya JT. Calm, always, on his mind, on his thinking, trying to see how we could always, be cool as well, which is very good. You can't forget, Rafine, come to find out he's a poet. And when we were in the police van being taken to court, he did some spoken word freestyles. And bro, it's just amazing the level of talent that this kid guy, very quiet. He was the most quietest of all. He doesn't talk much, but he's ready for whatever at the same time. And like the level of talent that he has and his passion shows you that Gambia really has a future of young people who really want change and they have talent. So shout out to Rafine. And come to find out, he knows one of my sisters, Mariama Cham. Shout out to my sister, Mariama Cham. And we got to have that conversation, when we were incarcerated together. And also Yusuf Taylor, Flex Don, the Team Gumsa Wolf, a spokesperson. Yusuf Taylor, man, I call him now Flex Mandela. Yusuf, he's our spokesperson, but beyond that, Yusuf is one of these brothers who've been fighting for Gambia since he was in the UK. More than 15 years ago. Flex is somebody who's been there for Gambia forever. He studied civil engineering. Sometimes people think that we just some nyama people, but he studied civil engineering. But his passion for Gambia made him leave UK to just come settle down and do what he does, love doing. And despite that, Flex, when we were in this situation, he was one of the most resilient, most informed, and also had more information, due to his journalistic skills and ability. Flex basically was the one who started the hunger strike in the prison. He's one of the most calmest guys. Like when people like me and Tigo, go, wild out or flip, he's the one to calm us down. Like, but Flex is the one who started the hunger strike. And me, myself, I was trying to calm him like, Flex, no, please, man, let's calm down. You don't have to hunger strike, man. But Come on, man, please. I need you to eat. You know, mile 2 is horrible, bro. Because if something happens to you here now, is another problem. And yeah, he went along with the hunger strike, and with 5 other people. You know, I'm not gonna lie, I'm also on hunger strike. They must be there, you know. But him and 5 other people, including Lamisi and other people, held it down. And salute to y'all. Like, y'all really held it down with the hunger strike, you know. And Flex was one of those who also was very, very good with making sure that youths who were in the prison were calm, despite his own problem. So salute to you, Flex. You know, watch him on the media. He's coming on the media these days on different platforms, you know. So I'm gonna just go fast. Shout out to Lamin Marigo, Combs Lamin Marigo. In Yaya Jammeh's time, he's part of our organization. He was one of those that was mobilizing with Lamin C, you know, along with the late Solo Sending on the ground, whilst I was in exile. So he was taken to Janjangbure prison during that time in 2016, along with Lamin C. And he came from work just to show solidarity, and he was arrested. And his wife, you know, he has a wife as well. He's a videographer, you know, he does film, documentary, music videos. And it's sad that he was arrested again as somebody who fought for this change. Thank you, Ibu. Yeah, boy. You know, so as somebody who really fought for change, you know, he basically didn't deserve to come through, you know, in this particular situation. You know, so shout out to Lamin Marigo. Yeah, so we also got Suleiman Manga. We got Musa Ace Saho. You got Musa Conte. You know, you got Ansumwana Ture. You got Yaya Jete. You got Bakari Jame. You know, you got Aliou Sarr. Aliou Sarr, I'm also going to stop at Aliou Sarr because Aliou, yeah, this is deep, man. This is crazy. Aliou Sarr, shout out to him because this guy is also another nice kid. These are all people that didn't expect, like, to be in this situation. But he was one of those who had a severe medical condition. And he, you know, it started when he was arrested, you know, by the police and detained in the cell. So basically his eye, right, it started becoming red. And then it started just becoming super red. And then it started becoming puffy, this one eye, like the one on the right side. It started becoming puffy. Becoming red, more and more red. So whilst we were in police detention, he pleaded for them to, like, take care of his eye. Like, yo, my eye is hurting. You know, it hurts so bad. You know, and they didn't really give him much attention. Through when we went to mile 2, the thing got this bigger. Like, it increased in size. It doubled in size. So, like, we came straight from the police to court to prison. So there was no time for us to get our own independent medical treatment. So when we went to mile 2, the problem continued. It got worse. It got worse. When we went to mile 2, they screened us, you know, and they told them, the officers at mile 2 at the clinic, told them that just when the doctor comes, he's going to check him and prescribe him some medicine. Cool. So the following day, this thing's getting worse, which is the night after we slept there. His eye is getting bigger and bigger. You can see that's his only frustration. So the doctor comes and gives him medicine, but the medicine prescription, after Aliou was taking that medicine, didn't really have effect. You know, the medicine didn't have no impact on his face, on his eye. So that's when I came, me and Tigo, we mobilized. We were like, yo, don't you see this guy's eye? Like, he's been swollen for days. If anything happen to his eye go blind or whatever, God forbid, you guys are in big trouble. Started making noise, started making chaos. And that's when one of the bosses assured us that he, you know, would get some treatment, and he would be taken, you know, outside of the prison to a special eye doctor, as, you know, we pleaded for. I personally, Antigo, went to the boss and told him he really needs this treatment, and we understand this is not your fault. The police created their mess and dumped it on you. But if anything happens to his eye, the prison authorities would be to blame, and that's not a good look for you. Because they sound people. Shout out to the prison officers. They're good peoples, man, you know. So, and he understood, and he promised to facilitate, you know, for him to be transferred. So the doctor was out. The doctor didn't arrive until the time that, you know, we were released. So, Aliou, I'm so sorry that you had to go through such a situation where, like, you know, you were in pain and was forced to live in such a horrible situation just for standing up for your people. So you're a true hero. You know, Ali, shout out to you. Shout out to Tumani Koli, Bakari Sanyang, you know, Musa Sanyang. Musa, you know, community leader. You know, he lives in my Taninding Forokono neighborhood. He used to be the coach of our team for the corner FC, even though could we like during his first year of coaching the community team, we got relegated. So Musa, but he's a community guy. He's managed artists like Adi Special, all of these young kids like Antu, he's helped them up during their careers through their events, supporting logistics. So Musa is somebody that telling me for the corner knows and loves, and a very happy guy. Big, I don't want to call him a idiot, but he's my guy, and me and him, we got that love, and he's somebody that personally is there anytime people need you. If you say that, Musa, we're going to go protest and jump in that fire, he will be one of those first people to come jump in that fire. So shout out to Musa, and I'm sorry that he had to go through that, and last but not least, Ibrahim Keita, so sorry, that was a very, very long list of people that I felt that really, really, really deserve to be recognized and also have their names mentioned live on, international platform, live on social media, so that they can be celebrated by you people, I would also like to give a special thanks to the women. Yeah, I have a special category for you people, because the impact that the ladies and the women, the young women, Sun Mary, Sun Yai, Sun Sister, when I came out and started watching ice cream, Ibu, I listen to ice cream, yeah? Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, boy. Let's see. So, sorry, the ice cream threw me off. So the women, when I came back home, I was just on social media laughing, enjoying the videos, enjoying the comments, crying at the same time, because there were a lot of heartwarming comments. Thank you, Ibu. By the way, he brought me this. He's like, Daddy, he's sweating. You know how kids talk indirectly, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I don't want to turn the fan on because the noise, might disturb my sound. So I might have to, don't worry. I've been through harder conditions. Thank you, baby. So I named them after my dad and my producer, Ibrahim Harley. Thank you, Ibrahim Harley. You know what I'm saying? I asked him, do he recognize me when I came back? Because they all used to the dreadlocks. But as soon as he saw me, he said, Daddy, Daddy. So anyway, back to the topic. Thank you, Ibu. The woman, played a great role. This reminded me of the Kalamar Revolution when our gallant women, the Sukai, the Harbors, all of these women came out in the streets in defiance to Jammeh with their brooms. It gave a different narrative and it gave a different picture to the struggle. Seeing mothers there crying because their young sons, are not going to, see them for days, and they're going to go to a prison. And Gambian context, prison is something that's very serious and severe in society. See women come be defiant, speak up, shout, and be in the forefront. There's a lady that laid down in front of the police van and said the van wouldn't move. Please don't do that next time, please. We need you, Hadi. Hadi, we love you. But please, these people, when they are mad and the executive orders come, they could try to do anything. I really appreciate it. Please, darling, please, 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 please. All right, I'm gonna get you some specific security guards so that you don't lay underneath the police van. And we appreciate it. These are the sacrifices that these people did. These are the sacrifices that the women actually did. Despite the cutting of Hamilton and so naked again. Again, I see I'm of Tahawal Afedi as coming, hey, by politic, by Lee, by Lay, hey, Busudugu. But you didn't find that. You actually mobilized more women. My sister Safilo. Hey, Safilo! My sister Safilo live in the same house, you know what I'm saying? She was also arrested. She came with my wife, and eventually, when she heard that we were going to prison, they held it down. So you, the woman, you reminded me that women always, when they take lead and they take charge and participate in any meaningful struggle, their struggle must succeed. Because you add another voice. The women are the mothers of the police officers. They're the sisters. So the level of morality and sympathy that women bring on the ground, is a different kind of energy. So I encourage more women, to partake in civic responsibility, social responsibility. Then anyone there, we really appreciate you. Also, the next generation. Like, I've seen so many young people participate. Yeah, once I feel we know big up guy was after. Okay, yeah, shout out to wifey, you know what I'm saying? She held it down when we were in the jail, both at the police and in prison. Every day we had fresh, big food come in that was enough to feed us and the whole entire police station. Every day some good home cooked food came through, and shout out to the women. This is why, the Prophet Muhammad, I heard that they said that according to narration, I'm not really religiously learned, but I heard that during the times of, you know, the religious struggles, you know, the men used to go to the battlefields while the women used to treat the wounds, you know, make sure that the men were on the front line healthy and, you know, ate some great food. And that manifested because the food that used to come from the house was like so much that it was enough for everybody that was there, to the extent where we could share with the police officers that were very nice to us in our police stations. So so the next generation, we've been doing this for years and years, and this is all that we wanted, was to see young people take charge. And you have proven that, yes, never again young people will be silent. This next generation, from university students to ordinary students, to the ghetto youth who nekasi campebi, to the ordinary layman living in the hood and in the communities, right? To the little boy that's just being born. The level of energy, from the dancing to the chanting to the spirit to the discipline, is just commendable and really makes me feel that this is what we've been fighting for years. To have young people not be silent. Because there was a time, young people can tell you about how many goals Cristiano Ronaldo scored, or how many assists and goals that Messi has in his whole life, but cannot tell you one line from the Constitution of the Gambia. They cannot quote Section 25. But now, these young people are quoting sections. They're talking about conversations that are of national interest. They're coming out in the streets to actually, with no fear, with energy, adding a new force. So I have to shout out to these young people. Shout out to Gala, you know, who also brought in this new wave and new vibrant, you know, feel, you know. So this is something I have to specifically also highlight, which is the young people. You guys are the next generation. My personal advice is keep the fire burning, you know, be disciplined. They always want to see us, you know, be on the wrong side so they can use it against us. So always, you know, think smart, be more informed, you know, and mobilize and strategize and be organized, like I learned when I was in Kenya and Tanzania. So thank you to the young people. Shout out to the media. I also got to give a special thanks to the media. The media, Gambian media, by extension, international media, played a part in exposing the injustices that were happening to me and the 22 other comrades. Media basically put the story out there. There's millions and millions of views, clicks, likes, you know, and engagements collectively. From the Kid Fatus to the Fatu networks to the VN medias to all of these social media. So, you know, to everyone on these platforms, you know, to the social media powerful powerhouses like What's on Gambia, you know, Citizens Outlook, etc., etc. I can't be mentioning names and, you know, then forget here or there. But social media as a large. Journalists were on the ground. Police were harassing them whilst we were trying to read our petition. You know, but they were there. They sacrificed and filmed, took pictures. You know, thanks to journalists, you know, people like me, you know, have the opportunity for the whole world to see how police were pushing me. You know, thanks to the journalists, the message spread out. So thank you, Safilo.
Yeah.
Well, we have a legal survey on how kind of a police living. Right now, we got news more fancy, man, life. The more big up jiggy, you have like Jambaringen. Understand nga, you know, the la masa chono. So just ben nyari kado, like, you know, she just woke up. Mom yago di la masani ben nyari kado Safilo, you know, yeah. Sis la gay degu ci sa. Yes. Sis acha.
Assalamualaikum, wa ngi leen gërëm di leen santa. Ci da ngeen jox ci taxawaay bi kontaan nañ torop gis nañ ngeen taxawoo suma mag ju baax ci ki mooy suma life mooy suma everything. Di leen gërëm di leen santa. Xam nga ñun dëkk bi leen am te ñun amul lu dul Gambia. Képp ku taxaw di fayta sa réew dinañ gën a wane suñ boppa waaye kontaan naa gërëm naa leen yéen ñëpp gis nañ tamit nu ngeen taxawoo Ali comme seen boppa sonn ngeen jàpp ne ñu yóbbu ñu terewu tamit ñu gifo ñu ngi si ba tey anytime ñu ngi seen ginnaaw ndax doom ku dëkk si dëkk bi lépp lu la métti si dëkk bi rek am nga raay pour taxaw kaas ko kon duñ leen mën a wax lu dul ci jëf rek di leen jaaraamal kontaan naa ci yéen bu baax a baax leen ci jàppale dina baax inshallah ñu jàppale suñu mag ji
Safi
thank you
Safi Mom, she was amongst the women. Asafi yenya haji genen arreston.
Ñun 6 la.
Okay, so then about pare you len fan.
Ñu ke man mangon kayra ba.
There were 6 of them women, her and other 6 women who were arrested, and they took them yobu Kairaba.
Wa man Kairaba la nekkoon yeneen 5 ñoo nekkoon Banjul.
And the other 5 were taken to Banjul headquarters, and that's where you slept for fan.
Waaw ñun fofu len.
And they had to sleep in those cells as women. And I heard that they len bolé ak jigéen yi.
Waaw de waaw man
len bolé ak góor am na ñoo xamante ne len bolé ak góor yi ci benn cell.
Waaw man moom man ak góor ñoo nekkoon ci benn cell bi Kairaba.
You heard they said that they put them in the same cells with men when she was at Kairaba, whilst the other women were taken to Banjul. Right, Safilo, yo, then I'm in a special TikTok live. You know, we explain, we talk about the women in the struggle and explain the narrative, because these are all sacrifices that people out there really put out there, you know. And all of those sisters, Balama, so I may send too. Send information, please, because we have to check them out and also thank them, because they didn't deserve, you know, parce que referred to tear gas la, but put it brutalized la, but put it yobula, put you up away. They were tear gassed, arrested, and put away because they were very vocal, talking to media, you know, and you know, very, very effective on the ground. So I apologize to all her, my sister, Safilo. Since a little kid, I basically, you know, raised her. You know, she stays here with me. Assalamu alaikum, brother. How you doing, man? Yeah, respect, man. Yeah, respect. Yeah, please share. You know, each share is a fist. You know what I'm saying? The revolution, you know, each share is a fist. You know, I would also like to give a thanks to, I was talking about the media, yeah. So, also can't forget the influencers. I swear to God, the night I came from Mile 2, I had my other phone, I went online, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. As much as I was in pain, because I'm a son, I'm like, I got like bruises here, you see. So I don't like to expose my body, but this is, you know, I was brutalized seriously. You know, I have other marks on my neck, you know, by the police, like seriously. Thank you. I went to the Lopitan yesterday, the hospital, the doctors checked it out. Yeah, so I came home like really like messed up and tired, but as soon as I got online, I swear to God, I was laughing, crying, because there was so much content that went viral in relation to this case from social media influencers, comedians, TikTokers. Like, the content was so amazing and creative and sent a very powerful message. Thank you so much, TikTokers, bloggers, influencers, all of you that were out there using your individual platforms that you use to send your message across, to send and show solidarity to, you know, the youth of the Gambia, you know. So thank you, the media at large, you know. Thank you to the newspapers, like even it was on the front line of the newspapers, you know. So yeah, I also like to thank my special thanks to my fellow artists, you know, my fellow musicians. Definitely contributed in the campaign. Yes, I agree. Most of the popular Gambian rap artists, most of the popular Gambian musicians do not, you know, or I can say are scared. Yeah, scared, you know, just to keep it straight. They're scared to join campaigns like this, you know, but it's not everybody. It's not all Gambian artists. So my people out there, please don't generalize, you know, because there's many artists who supported this campaign. From Rupa Tapa, you know what I'm saying, you had Mahade Hama, you had the movements, you had Sparkling Black. Sparkling Black as an artist offered free medical screening to all of the 22 people who were arrested. Shout out to Sparkling Black, our Bling, you know, as one of the leading female artists, you know, that uses her arts. You know, so there were many artists. Hussein Dada. Shout out to you, Hussein Dada. You know what I'm saying? Kombonka. You know what I'm saying? Kibla. The hip hop platform. Everybody from the Cypher Network, you know, showed love. You know, the rappers themselves, a lot of them showed love. Easy T. Almost all of these people that like showed love and supported the network. So there are a lot of artists that supported this. So in as much as a lot of people have are blaming artists for not contributing, but I'm also using this as an opportunity to say that there are a lot of artists, maybe they're not be as famous as your STs or as your Jesus or your Attacks, you know, but they're in this industry and they're prominent artists, you know, internationally, all the way to Ombre Zion in Senegal, you know, my man Abambasa Mandela, you know, all the way in Kenya. You know, it was even network from Africans artists, you know, who were showing love and solidarity. So thank you to artists, all artists out there, upcoming, whether you are popular always use your music as an art for social change. When the people need you, be there for them, because music is a very powerful tool to spread the message. You, the artist, when you post one thing, 5,000 people see it, sometimes millions of people see it, and that alone has an impact, like what Sean Gambia is doing. They have thousands and hundreds of thousands of followers. If they post one information, everybody knows it. You artists have the same star power. So use that ability, to advocate for peace, change, transparency, and things that affect you. Your fans use internet to stream your music. We are in the world of Audio Mac. We are in the world of YouTube. We are in the world of TikTok. So your fans need data to stream your music and support you to be able to gain revenue. So if the data and internet is expensive for your fans, my dear artist, how would you expect them to support you through these mediums? Because they will have less internet or data to watch more longer videos. Instead of watching 5 of your videos, maybe they might even watch one video for 1 minute. So if the internet goes up, how can they stream you on Spotify, YouTube, iTunes, which allows you to get a little bit of return and support you as an artist? So you should not be silent in matters like this. This affects you, the artist. Man artist la no, na ni affaire politique boko masi lidu politique. We are not politicians. We are non-partisan. We're non-partisan. This is for the people. Politics determine the way that we live. The performance fees that you have to pay as an artist, the performance license, those are all regulated by the government, brother. The policies which will allow you to earn copyright and get paid royalties, those are all things that can be implemented by the government. So when cases happen that are important, my brothers and sister artists, support and be there for the people. Also, I would also like to give a special thanks to the anonymous, because a lot of people do a lot of goodwill, but, want to stay behind the scenes and don't want their name out there. When we were incarcerated, a lot of people helped in different ways, legally, this way, that way, made sure our families were good, and we didn't even know until we came out. And some of those people had done a lot and don't want to be mentioned. They don't want to thank you on Facebook. They don't want, hey, Aji Kujas, Jai Momo, Johe won $50,000 people, $50,000 people, Hale send rare be accent Gagarabi. People that want to remain anonymous. Even though, confidentiality is important, but from the bottom of my heart, you know who you are. Whether you were somebody who's behind the scenes mobilizing, whether you were somebody who supported financially, whether you were somebody who even spread the word out to your fellow brother or sister, all of you that remain anonymous, because not everybody needs to be visible, from all walks of life, from businessmen to the ordinary Gambian to even, people who are in the conversation. So thank you, all the anonymous people. Thank you for doing good without wanting to be, given shouted out to. But even though in this, as much as we would like to mention your name and say thank you and let the whole world know, as one of you guys say, Jif Juba Kendukosul, you never bury a good deed, but we will respect your level of privacy and anonymity to, not say it. Last but not least, I want to also give a shout out to the police. Now, this is gonna, be funny, because if somebody says, somebody that has been treated very unjust by the police, to come out and say, he want to give a special shout out to the police. Yes, I do. Yes, we have been treated very badly and horribly. But look, say about Nanga. You sure?
Yeah.
All right, thanks, man. We have been treated very horribly as young people by these same police. And, we were brutalized. They wanted us to go to prison. They wanted to use us as an example so that, nobody else would dare to go out and fight for their constitutional right to peacefully assemble. And, they put us through a lot of pain, as I showed you the scratches and bruises. You know, some of the officers basically beat one person that was part of us, Bakari, to the extent where, you know, his shoulder was dislocated. Even Ibrahim Maja's shoulder was dislocated. But Bakari's case was worse because his was dislocated since he was in the police station. You know, he had to go to the hospital. That's one of the reasons why he took bail. And one thing about Bakari, when we were taken to Mile 2, he eventually fainted because he needed some physiotherapy. But because of the process of how we were just taken from the police and to court, you know, he couldn't get the required treatment. So in the prison where we were sleeping, it's very hard, it's very harsh. We sleep on hard wood, you know, and that's not the type of condition that somebody who needs physiotherapy should sleep on. So sometimes Flex used to massage him, you know, and we tried our best, but you can tell how he was really broken to the extent where he fainted, you know, and we nearly caused a riot in the cell because I told them that, yo, we told you people are sick and you're bringing them here, you know. So shout out to Bakari, you know. Yeah, that's something Lord Hammond and I felt like I had to put it on the table. Yeah, so when it comes to the overall efforts of the police too in making us go through the situation, for somebody to also say I have to thank the police again, it might seem contradictory, but no, it's not. Because yes, police did treat us bad, and treated us horribly. But equally, they were police who treated us like royalty and treated us like kings and citizens and respected our rights. For example, and specifically, when we were in Bakote police station, because we were dispersed to 4 different police stations, the 22 of us. Bakote police station, Cairo police station, Kotu police station, and there's another one off my head, I kind of forgot. But it was 4 various police stations. And 9 of us were at Bakote police station. But when we were at Bakote police station, the officers that were there, shout out to Krubali, you know, shout out to Cisse, Sergeant Cisse, shout out to Sanyang, you know, these officers, you can tell visibly, as junior officers, they really felt our pain. They took very good care of us. They granted us access to our loved ones. You know, they made sure that our people saw us. You know, they made sure that our food was taken on time. You know, they even brought like bleach and all of these things, you know, for us, you know, to make sure that the place was smelling good. You know, like what they gonna yala. You know, so it was offend me. You know, the Moneka comment, do offend just because of people think that I am anti-police. These brothers and sisters, these officers in Bakote police station, I heard in Kotu was the similar. The officers were down with us. Anything that we send them out to get for us, they'll get for us. They'll send one of the junior staff. You know, they'll allow us to communicate with our people out there, you know, to tell them to bring things for us. You know, they'll motivate us, turn the TV on for us to watch. You know, we even joked with them, had a relationship with them. Shout out to Gata Saf, you know, she was one of the officers that was there always at the front desk, you know, and she really, you know, was funny, you know. So we were treated very well by these officers, even though we were not in good conditions, you know, and I really believe that should be highlighted, you know, because many of these officers, and to put this in the context, what the police do is when they arrest all of you or many people or a group of people, right, they disperse people to different police stations. They do this for various reasons, right? One is so that people don't come and mobilize, so that people don't come and gather like sympathizers, don't come and gather like, you know, groups of people don't come gather in the Kairaba police station in one place, which they are scared of, because they know once people gather, become 100 people, 200, 300, 400, 1,000, you know, it's on social media, people are coming more. That's not good for them because there's going to be too much pressure for them. So they split us into various places, so that, you know, it splits the movement. That's how I can say it. And also, too, it also is like, to me, I don't think it's legal. Correct me if I'm wrong. This is me thinking of opinion, because I do believe if I'm arrested in around Pipeline, my jurisdiction is Kairoba police station, right? If I'm arrested in Kotu, then I should be taken to Kotu police station. But all of us who are arrested in Kairoba were dispersed to different police stations in different jurisdictions. So what they do is now they will just go to a police station, backwater, and dump all 9 of us, whilst there were already existing people who were in those cells and those police stations. Now, with no authority, with the SO of the police, this is like enforced. Like, hey, backwater police station, here are these people, we dump them here, no explanation of the case, it's an order from the top, let them stay here. Even the SOs, the station officers who are, you can say in the law, the heads of these police stations. The station officer, the SO, is the commander-in-chief of that police station. So he should be informed of every single matter that comes or is brought to his police station. But this is not the case. The police would bring people who had medical conditions and would not even inform the SO. We have to tell the SO, hey, SO, be careful that this guy, he had this problem there, and the police there at, Sar and his guys are the ones who really tortured him and brutalized him there. He fainted once before that. And and thanks to that, Buddy was, put outside, and had privilege, and he wasn't put into the cell. So they basically abuse their own fellow men and officers and abuse their rights, as far as authority and respect is concerned. So these police stations are just like dumping grounds. And I do believe that the Gambia police force should give station officers their respect to the extent where, these officers don't have to carry the burden of what you guys created. It's just unfair. You gave them extra work, overwhelming pressure, hundreds and hundreds of visits, and I don't think that's really fair. So thank you to the police. Suba, I'm gonna go to Bakote police station with my wife and the correct. Wow, because we were family to the extent that, every food that we had in the cell as inmates, right? What we did was we shared most of it because Gala was bringing lunch. Lunch was coming from the house. Momodu Aliun Jahai used to bring like all these shawarmas, pizzas, all of these things on the regular. So there was this abundance of food to the extent where everything we had, we just basically like, yo, di bala mo yahu, acha dohlen ko officer ying and chill, to the extent where like, I don't want to say everything before, police, they can be jealous and try to put them or try to downplay, those police officers for doing what is their constitutional right of treating citizens fairly. So thank you to the police officers and equally the officers in the prison, because they were very, very good to us. They're not perfect as well, but, majority of them treated us very well, understood our pain and were patient for us, patient with us, despite us being, these people who are already frustrated, angered, mad, etc., etc. So they were really patient with us. They understood our pain. They didn't even want us to be there because the prison is already overcrowded, and that was just more work for them. And to be honest, from the one day, like they allowed us to see our people. Everything went well, and they basically treated us very well. And I felt pity for them because they also had to take the load of what another police or another security force created, and they didn't deserve to be in that situation. Their men also equally, I feel the police or the prison officers are not equally treated like, other servicemen. You can tell by, the nature of, their environment, they're under-resourced. I do believe I should take this as an opportunity to, talk to the Ministry of Interior. Please consider the Gambia Prison Services because they are really, they lack capacity. If you look at the other forces like the Gambia Police Force, like you guys are building new police stations here and there, you having new gear, your men are having nice equipment, you guys are being funded. I do believe that there should be more equal distribution of funding even to the Gambia Prison Service, because like the remand wing is horrible. It's a structure from 1950 that the colonial people built as a place to, oppress. Yeah, sorry. So the prison service was built in 1950s, and it was built as like a place of oppression. That place, once you go there, you lose hope in life. It's a world of its own. The cells are 6 by 3 meters wide, each cell, with 11 cells in total. And each cell's capacity should be no more than 15, 14 people. And these cells hold up to 28 people. it's like this: 1, 2, 3 plates of wood, and then underneath the wood, you know, people sleep underneath within that 6x3 space. And when they lock the door, that's the same place where you have to pee and piss when it's time to piss and ease yourself. And even when you want to poop, you know, excuse me, you know, that's the same pot. It's called the chamber pot that you have to use until they open the gates tomorrow, or you might or you poop on yourself. So that's how horrific the conditions is. So the structures are outdated. You can see the iron rods, like Flex said yesterday on Kilfatu, the iron rods hanging from the ceilings. So these were structures meant to oppress our forefathers who fought against the colonial, imperialist, British colonizers. So it was built for them. The laws of people having their hairs cut and dreadlocks cut, you know what I'm saying, whether it's dreadlocks or long hair is cut. It was the things that the imperialist, colonial colonizers, right, used to break down the spirits of the true freedom fighters in that time, fighting against these colonizers. Because dreadlocks are a symbol of revolution. It's a symbol of defiance. Dreadlocks have a lot of, you know, significance and meaning. You know, so I'm praying and I'm talking to the Ministry of Interior respectfully. Please consider the Gambia Prison Service. They need a lot of help. The building needs to be rebuilt. There needs to be a wider environment. Transform it from being a place of oppression to a correctional structure where there's enough space, you know, where when you're there, at least you still have hope in life and know that you're a human being. But anybody that goes to mile 2, you feel like you're an animal because you're treated worse than how animals are treated. So Ministry of Interior, please consider increasing your allowance or your budget to the prison. Even the prison officers, they suffer it. They live in worse conditions amongst these security personnel. They eat the same food that the prisoners eat. If you give a prison officer like a corned beef, like he'll eat the flavor happy. You know, I don't mean to put you guys out there like this, the prison officers, you guys, like, shout out to y'all, but I'm just explaining what you guys also face whilst trying to settle the congestion and the pressure there. There's some prison officers like, you know, you can tell personally, like, they're overwhelmed. Like Bambalai. Like, we had so many visits, he had to go back and forth, the pressure, like, you know, but he maintained, he was like Ace, to know what he done about. There's a lot of people out there that, you know, they go through. And I do believe that the Ministry of Interior should really consider this. Mile 2 is horrible. The same amount of money that you're putting into the police force, you know, please try to help the prison. They need better structures. You need to make the place, you know, wider. You know, during the OIC, you know, you guys bought vehicles that worth more than $5 million. Some go up to $10 million. I don't want to, you know, say the wrong figures, but at least $5 million it costs. One of those costs alone could build 1 unit of the remand center and make it better. Hey, why you? And make it better. Bena moto you government officials is jendon reglawa. Bena. When you learn Mohammed Jai. Those vehicles, the same ones that Mohammed Jah sold you guys. Just one vehicle could fix that place. But you guys neglect it. So I want to put it to the Ministry of Interior, and I am pleading to whoever has the national budget allocation, when you guys are drafting the next annual budget for our country, please consider increasing the budget for the prison. All of these prison officers, their salary is very low, right? Listen, they receive low salaries, right? On top of that, they have deductions of $500 from their salaries. And also they are heavily taxed on top of that. So you receive a small salary as a prison officer, then $500 is deducted for pension or pension, whatever, and then you are taxed again. I don't want to say the percentage because I don't know the exact percentage, but I do know that they are taxed. But then according to the credible source, sis, they are heavily taxed on top of their small salary. So I also have to just thank the good men in uniform. Please continue that. Like this guy in Bakote police station, one of these young officers, he said, Ace, you know, you guys are human beings. And some things you see, we just follow order. We don't have, you know, we follow command, but it's not really something that we want to do. Sometimes we go to bed crying, knowing that we took an order, having to do this and that and that and this. And I really felt for him because I'm not, I know recruit your money to the money. My son then. You know, so Gambia police force, stop Jahasebi. Violent you Jahase Agnim Sundui. You guys on the top, don't sit on the top, drinking your coffee, driving your expensive vehicles, in your AC. I'm talking to the IGP down to the other high commands. Going to workshops, receiving per diem, DSAs, receiving a good salary every month. And then you make the young staff and officers do the dirty job. It's very unfair. Bro, you can tell there's a lot of officers. There's this one particular serviceman who told me, Ace, I swear to God, if officers can, like, if it was legal for officers to protest, I swear to God, this internet thing you guys are fighting for, you will see thousands of police officers, prison officers, immigration officers on the ground. Which is true, because the Public Service Act or rules and regulations, if you're a civil servant, you cannot participate in any protest whatsoever. All civil servants. So that's why I mean we legacy government. Yange been the yange protest do Buko blame, Lord of course sign. Lord of course sign. So there's officers out there who helped us during the times whilst there were other officers that were trying to make us go through hard and pain. So as much as there's people like SARS, SAR, I'm coming to you one fine day, like, you know, we will talk more about how people like you use your power and force to tarnish the image of our credible, noble force, you know, and how you use authority and power instead of using dialogue and conversation as we expected. So people like SAR, they will be talked about. But it's not fair for them to use the junior recruits, these young people who just graduated, these young people who should be taught a lesson that these are your brothers, these young people who receive the most lowest salary in the force, these young people who suffer more from the data increase, more than you, SAR, more than you, IGP, because you guys have wireless, you guys have good salaries, you guys have internet allowance, you guys have transport allowance, fuel allowance, everything. But these recruits, they receive around $50 a month. So it's unfair for you to use them as bait against their own brothers. How many other fans see police officers that love me, that show me love, that support me, that you know what I'm saying? Right? And you send those same people against us, our brothers and sisters. So SAR, I don't know his name, like I hear that it's Usman SAR or Lamin SAR, but whoever knows his full name, SAR, and all of these higher ranking to the IGP upwards. Don't use the command to oppress the people. Don't use your men on it with lower authority against us. Because Yenege has the police force and the people. And what happened was that day was an example. You know, it was an example when it could have been avoided. It could be avoided. So I have to thank the police, you know, and last but not least, because, you know, today is Juma and respect to, the religion as well. I'm going to just cut it a little bit short here. Last but not least, I would like to say thanks to also the National Assembly members. I can't forget them. They came through, and a lot of influential people in the political conversation came through, supported, show love. So thank you. Also, I want to thank What's on Gambia, because they reached out to me the other day and told me, Ace, our fans really want to do a fundraiser for you. They've been requesting to do a fundraiser, you know, and they would really appreciate if they are given the light to do so. And I responded to What's on Gambia. I said, you see, me, I do this for the love. Like, definitely, I don't do this for, you know, anything. I do this out of passion. But since they want to express themselves and it's their right, you know, I'm not going to say no. You know, and the thought alone is very beautiful. And that's when they raised the fundraiser. And I heard that, you know, it reached more than $400,000. That's like, you know, 8,000 kala. Okay, sorry guys, I have an urgent call, but why you 11 seconds? Hello? Well, never mind. Well, I'll be done in like 5 minutes, bro. Yeah, I'm just giving my last word of thanks. Huh? Okay. All right. Thanks. All right. There you go. Yeah. Yeah. So a lot of supporters are calling. You know, as usual, my phone is just ringing. You know. So also I just wanna say thank you. You know, for that great gesture. I received a message to them from them today, telling me that, you know, they mobilized more than 400,000. You know, I sent them my response letter, and I want to say thank you to everybody. You know, and as like, I don't do this for the money. I've never done it for the money. If it's about the money, I think I had opportunities to, you know, become rich a long time ago. You know, but that's not what it's for. I survive, I hustle, I go on my grind, take care of my family, pay care of school fees, and even help extend it, you know, best of my abilities. But, you know, this is very, like, significant. It's a milestone where Gambians, you know, want to support the struggle and support genuine activism and advocacy. You know, I just want to thank every donor that supported, whether it's $1, whether it's $1 million, whether it's whatever. You know, thank you so much, you know, for having our pain at heart, you know, to the extent where you showed your collective support as a Gambian. And also, I just want to, you know, announce what I want to do with the money once I receive the money. This is the final part where I'll be closing. You know, today is Juma. What I want to do with the money first is I want to, you know, take some of the money and share it amongst the 22 young people who were arrested along with me and detained in Mile 2. Yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to take, you know, a lot of that money and share it amongst them. Yeah, because I'm the famous one, but they equally shared the same pain and struggle with me. Some even went through more pain. Look at Bakari. You know, his shoulder was dislocated. His spinal cord was hurting. He fainted in prison. I didn't face that. And all of that happened because of his belief in the cause and seeing me as a leader, despite us meeting the first time through this experience. The Lamin sees all the other 22 kids or youths who left their families at home. I do believe they also played a part in this. Even though I'm the popular one, Digala Mafsu, why Nyom Tamit, I Jambar Len, I gain the land, and I'll definitely give them a piece of them. Secondly, what I would love to do with the money is I have a project called the Uplift Project. It's when I came from Mile 2 in 2019, me and, you know, a lot of my people created something called Uplift, a prison reform project to help reintegrate young people from prison back into society. Because in the society where you're from, when you come from prison, society seems to see you as a criminal and, you know, you're neglected and marginalized in society. And a lot of young people come from prison and then they go back to prison because when they come out of prison back to society, society neglects them and they go back to criminal activities. So as part of the Uplift, you know, I did 3 donations in the previous years. Thank you so much. Wow. Did not message me. Thank you so much, really. So I've done 3 previous prison donations where I made packages of the items which consisted of gari. Just in case you don't know, gari is like, you know, gold in the prison. Like, you know, gari, milk, sugar, tea, and menstrual pads. You know, these are some of the most sought after needs, you know, in the prison. And every year, you know, I haven't done it for the last 2 years. You know, I ain't gonna lie, I was kind of broke, you know, but yeah, this is an opportunity for me to also do the 4th edition of the Uplift Prison Donation, where we'll give sugar, milk, tea, parcels. Each bag, you know, would have sugar, milk, tea, gari, and some other stuff I forgot, as one bag, you know, enough to last somebody for 1 week. And according to our previous donations, the first one I did the donation after my Baye Ken Momo Dekabi concert. I took the proceeds and you know, did that, you know, and the 2nd edition as well, I did that along with people that supported me. So now, thank God, with this, I will be able to do the 4th edition. So what I intend to do, once I get the date, I'll let you know. I'll do another Uplift Prison donation. You know, a lot of gari, food, milk, sugar, and menstrual pads. because don't forget, women are also in mile too. You know, and menstrual pads is very important for them. It's one of the most sought after things that they need as well. You know, and also to the prison officers. As I said, the prison officers also go through, you know, severe conditions and situations. So shout out to y'all, you know, for everybody that donated and gave me the opportunity to use that same resources to give back, you know what I'm saying, to the cause that made this possible. You know, and definitely last but not least, you know, one thing I definitely want to do with the money is I've been working on the prison project, a community center, which will have a studio space, you know, and it'll be a little center where you can mentor these young people in the streets, the Tamambalo, you know, and get them engaged into something positive and help those that are out of, that are in prison reintegrate back into society. So the Uplift Community Center has always been a dream, you know, when it comes to me and my team. And I do believe this can be the start of me getting a space where, you know, I can start to equip with a studio, computer lab, and a library as a start. So I think this money could also support that great cause that has always been, you know, part of the plans, you know. And, you know, so that's basically what I said I should announce to the public. Since it's money that was given to me from the public, you know, I want to be accountable to you as well. You know, even though I know the intention was it for me to come to me personally, you know, and I highly appreciate that. But I also, you know, found that it was fair enough for me to break down how I want to, you know, do and go ahead with the funds, you know. So thank you so much, Gambia. Thank you so much to the international world. Thank you to the National Human Rights Center. You know, shout out to the lawyers. And shout out to, you know, a lot of people that I probably forgot their name. You know, so that's basically what it is. Yes, I'm taking most of the money. I'm giving some of the money to the comrades that I was arrested with, the 22 other inmates that I was there with. You know, I'm going to share their cut. Each one of them going to get their share. We're going to do the prison donation and go give out some donations to the prison. And also we're going to book and rent a space as a start. We're going to rent a space, you know, to open up the Uplift Community Center here in Talinding for a corner. A lot of young people are here. Society, you can see Ndoyange, Tamambalo, the houses, but now, luckily, I have, you know, we have funds, you know, through your support to open up or get a space, you know, that we can rent to start off this community center. You know, and thank you so much, my peoples. I know I spoke longer than I expected. But this is what happens when you speak from the heart. You know, things just pop up. But thank you so much. Thanks to the international community. Also, thanks to the religious leaders, you know, that pray for us, our parents, you know, our fathers, you know, everybody, you know, as even Flex as a Christian, you know, he had pastors and priests praying on our behalf. He's on our side, Sheikh Baba, all these great influential imams also pray for us. So thank you to the religious leaders as well. Can't forget you, our parents, sun yayi, sun papa yi, during in Jeff, you know, Juk Jambar, you melni, to Miguel Masawusi, the pain that we put you through over this last week, and everybody at large. Thank you so much. Like, I can say thank you to everybody, you know, Fiba Suba. You know, out of respect for Juma Mubarak, I'm gonna cut the live here short, and please share. Let this message be spread all over the world. You know, and if there's anybody I forgot to say thank or forget to mention, you know, in regards to this, you know, I'm sorry. You know, it's an oversight. So see you guys when I see you again. Don't forget the Sideline song is out. Brand new music is out. It's on YouTube. Please come and my go fund me, but I'm almost $500,000 in. Please share my music, because the music also helps me sustain myself independently. You know, the things that I do, these businesses, the t-shirts, the flight mode, buying, selling, these support me on a day-to-day basis. So if you support those, you directly support me indirectly again. So please go support Sideline. Music videos out, and more songs is coming out these days, inshallah. After the Sideline, more Killa Ace music. The Kilimanjaro album is coming, so wait for that project. Thank you so much, Gambia. You know, I just don't want to stop, but I have to stop. We are lawful, we are legal, we are lawful, we are legal, we are lawful. So I think we should do a song on that. So yeah, a collaboration. We are lawful, we are legal. By Ken Momo Dekabin, One Gambia. The revolution starts now. Team Gum Sabopa. Shout out to Edward Francis, Teacher Smalls. Shout out to Gala, you know, who we all partnered with collectively in this cause. One love to Gambia. No Boka Day, no Boka Bay. let's not allow us to be divided. Let's be united. The revolution starts now here. Partage. Jërëjëf.